Alright, getting this out a little later because I actually did a video, but I had so many edits and interruptions I had to just do a clean one. So everybody sleep, let's get started. Continuing the break of this previous level over here, this pivot point that we were saying, okay, if you bought the dip here, it'd be about a 62 to 80% retracement into it. That's broken, so now we have to see how much juice the retracement is going to be. Now the retracement is not going to be, I'm not going to be looking here for the retracement. I'm actually going to be looking at these pivots here to see if it comes up, gives a couple of weekdays, fails below that, gives a spacing to continue for the down move. On the weekly, you can see again, this has broken this pivot, and you'll see that it'll be pretty much a reoccurring theme with all the other ones as well. So the composite, you pretty much have that pivot as well. So you're breaking into what we wanted to see regarding just the, and you could look at a couple of my weekend videos, just the higher lows. It's just a real basic way to see what part of the trend you're in. And once you start getting into here, you could say, okay, it's at jeopardy because it's broken this previous pivot. It broke out, squeezed a lot of people, and then rolled to the downside. On the daily, you could see again, you took this, there's nothing wrong with this trade. If you took this trade here, you manage risk, maybe you got out full and then you got in again, most you should be down is 2% to 3% based on, using an average of 1 to 1.5% risk per trade. That's how you stay in the game. You want to make, risk 1% to make 3%. IWM continuing, we had this that we put over the last couple of days a lower high, and it's continuing to the downside. So once you got this move and you got a little pop, a lot of spacing between here, but again, you had a lot of volatility. So if you were actually out of it, saying, listen, I don't want to mess with that, there's nothing wrong with that. But you can see it's moving sideways. We kind of wanted to see where it broke. It broke down below these pivots, and now we want to see how the retracement looks to the upside and really focus on that volume to see if it weakens and then gives spacing from this point. You have Tesla continues actually really down. And again, you want to make sure that the setup is right, because if you have this and you say, okay, we got a break of support, you want to see it come back maybe to either here or use this pivot to say how strong the retracement is with the volume, of course. But you don't want to be shorting 3 days into a powerful move like this with high volume. So you want to see what the volume kind of looks like when it capitulated. And it capitulated here, it capitulated here. Not saying that it ended the move, but you go short the next day, you're going to get squeezed for a couple bars. And then you see that, and again, this is the volume that we wanted to see. See how the volume decreased? That's what we want to see on the retracement. You see how the volume kind of got weaker, and then it's kind of went this way, shot down. Again, I didn't see that. Again, I was long here. So again, I got squeezed out. I was actually long here, and it broke below the support. I thought it could be a nice retracement coming from this level, and it didn't. So it failed, and I got stopped out. And that's just got to move on from the next trades and go from there. So we also look, surprisingly, just want to tell you guys that Apple's actually showing relative strength, if you want to really talk about it, because with all of these moves to the downside, you see that you see how it's just grinding sideways. That's, to me, showing me that the bears are not really able to push this down, even though they got the QQQ and the composite going down. So that's something to kind of be aware of regarding Apple, to say, okay, it's showing some relative strength, and if it could pop up and give a higher, again, you're not going to trade right this funk right here. But if it can break above this range and give a nice little dip, or if it breaks down and then gives a nice retracement and then pops out, it could shoot either way. So we just have to kind of see. And again, you don't guess direction. You just kind of want to see how this, you keep that stuff in mind. You got Netflix. Netflix also giving some pretty much some layering from this. So again, if you weren't patient, and again, this might be something that you say, I got stopped out. You just got to have the gonads to get back in if you see something like this. But again, because of the price action that's been having, and it's been such a bipolar, schizophrenic, coked out Mel Gibson type of movement for this crazy couple days, it's good to say, listen, I didn't have any trades today because again, the stuff that I'm looking at, and again, I don't look at a lot of names. I look at 10 names because I got a lot of stuff that I do for each one that I don't share, here, but it's a lot of work. So I can't be every hot name that goes, you just pile it onto your watch list, and then you got 100 things you're trying to do. But if you look and take that 100 and get your diamond 10, then you look at those to get the move. GoPro, actually, excuse me, GoPro, I mean, it's still above this. It's actually has some increase in volume, but again, if it breaks above this high, it still could be okay. At the end of the day, this could be a pretty good setup, actually. So I'm not looking at this to get extremely bearish on it anyway. I mean, you got the volume. You want to see what this retracement volume is. Again, this is the weekly, and it hasn't been, that much weekly information to really go off of. But you got this going on, and I wouldn't be, too bearish regarding GoPro. Actually, Baba, we gotta see. This is not enough information for me to really, see what's going on. Twitter, this one actually broke down as well. So you have, again, breakout failure, okay? And then if you just then roll your stops up tight, which you have to do, and scalp them if you got to, if that's the way you trade. But it broke down right back into this, pretty much this movement. So we just have to see what's going on. We look at the weekly, you can see that it's giving some type of, it's still looking okay. If it can hold above these highs, it still looks okay. But again, not really giving a lot of action. Facebook, I mean, it's crazy as sound. It breaks above these highs. It could be something pretty good, because if you just roll these out here, you could say, okay, it's layering on top of that one, and it's not really that deep of a retracement as well. So again, if you're looking to go long, short, tomorrow is not the time. You should already be in the short and trying to take off some profits. If you're not short already, you have to wait for a proper setup to go short if you're looking to get bearish. If you're long, the retracements are deep enough to be concerned with buying this dip. Okay, we have to see what's going on. Again, during uncertain times, you again keep your powder dry and wait for the market to show its hand. Take care.